For those of you who are subscribed to my channel, I'm sure you guys know that I'm more familiar with the older Mercedes, such as the 90s, 2000s, 2010s, but that's kind of where I end my own ownership of vehicles. The newest car I drive is 10 years old, my 2015 C63 507, which of course the W204. Now that car does not have newfangled technology like, I don't know, auto stop start, driver assistance stuff and whatnot. We have some blind spot assist and parking sensors, but that's about it. But something that absolutely infuriates me in the newer cars is the auto stop start, like I just mentioned. You know, it's one of those things where I'm sure the engine's been designed for it, but just the idea of the constant stop start just seems like excessive wear and tear on the engine. And I've heard about some M276s and 278s and 157s having an oil pressure switch that reduces oil pressure at lower RPM and idle. And just the thought of it constantly going back and forth between low oil pressure and turning off just doesn't sound very appealing to me. And if I had one of these cars, especially a 63 with the M157, I would want that stuff turned off permanently, or at least stay off when I tell it to. The problem is a lot of cars, I believe, by law will require startup in their most efficient setting on startup, which would leave cars starting up in comfort mode with the auto start stop turned on. Now, like I said, none of my cars actually do have this function, which I am thankful for. But if you do have the privilege of owning a W205 C63, 212 E63 with M157, or something of that likes, you might not want to have that auto start stop turned on. Now, what I'll show you guys today is a little demonstration of how you can actually turn this off, or at least have it set to stay in the position you left the car on. So for example, if you had the auto start stop turned off, it would not by default turn back on startup, which I think is a pretty valuable thing to have. It just gives you the option to not utilize that function if it does bother you. What also bothers me is just the general jerkiness of the auto start stop in the cars that are before the 48 volt electrical systems. When Mercedes switched to sort of doing the mild hybrid sort of 48 volt architecture, I believe the start stop became smoother because it would use the electric motor on the transmission to actually move the car forward at first. But before then, it was a bit more jerky in my opinion. I wasn't a big fan of it. So today we're actually in my mom's 2019 E450 Coupe, which does, as you can see, have the auto start stop button. Now, it doesn't bother her, so I'm not really going to do this permanently, but when I do drive this car, it does throw me off because I'm not used to the car just turning off. It feels like I've stalled the car driving a manual. This launch CReader is available for multiple platforms. You can, in fact, purchase more types of platforms this can work with. This one comes preloaded with Mercedes software specifically and can do specific Mercedes coding, which is fantastic. And for how much this thing costs, it's pretty darn impressive what it can do. I've actually coded modules in my ML63 and even done some more diagnostics in my C63, other cars as well. It does really, really well, really impressive stuff. But today we're going to do a little example of how to disable this auto start stop, as it's a pretty popular thing they want to do. With the ignition on, let's press diagnose. Keep in mind the car is turned off right now, just the ignition is turned on. We're going to press Mercedes. Press OK. It's going to scan the VIN of the car and figure out what options it has, what chassis it is. Automatically search. Let's go with enhanced version. Once that loads up, we'll do system selection, type of drive. Now we'll do variant coding, implicit variant coding, and now we can look and see where we can find the Eco Start Stop. And you'll see on the E-Class, this E-Class Coupe, it is option number 046. You can press stop start activated, you press it over there, and we can change that to not activated. Press OK. And then you'll press write coding, which will essentially write the ECU what your new coding is. It'll either turn ignition off for a certain amount of time, and then it'll go back on, and then this will no longer be on at all times, which is awesome, because right now you can turn it on and off manually, but it'll be on by default. So this will eliminate the need to turn it off manually, but in this case, because my mom's car, she actually does not have a problem with it being on, I'm going to leave it as it is. But if you were to do this, you just press right coding over there, and then you'd be good to go. What I do recommend doing is press backup, because this will actually keep a stored copy of this ECU's coding to this device in case any issues occur, in which case you can rewrite your save data onto the car with this recover button over here. So it's good to have all of that here. But you can see there's lots of different options here. Emotion start, which means if you hold down the right paddle shifter, or whatever the plus paddle shifter is, or actually I believe that's only for right-hand drive cars. I think in the left-hand drive market, you'd press the left-hand paddle shifter. It'll actually do a little startup roar, and it make the car a little bit louder on startup for certain models. This one does do that. I believe all the E-Class coupes do that in the US. But lots of other little options here and there. Some are applicable to this car, some are not. Switchable engine mounting, fitted or not. That's, I think, believe you have the adaptive engine mounts that the AMG GTs had for a certain amount of time. And I believe the S model AMGs as well. But lots of different options here. You can see the possibilities are seemingly endless, which is pretty cool. So lots of options there. This tool does give you lots of special coding access that more expensive tools don't, and only the Mercedes Diagnostics tools do. So it's pretty cool, pretty impressive. I do recommend just having one of these, not just for this purpose of doing start-stop stuff with the newer cars, but if you have an older car or older Mercedes, plural, like I do, these are a must-have. I actually just leave this in my daily driver, and if it comes up, I use it. So good to have. I highly recommend it. Check out link in description below. It is a bargain for what you get, and I have been using these types of readers for a couple years now at this point with great success, and they've saved me many times and make the diagnostic process much easier. No generic P codes, nothing like that. So just having it available is awesome. You've probably seen my King Bull and K8 video as well. That's actually, I believe, the same parent company as Launch. That's essentially a more advanced version of this scanner, but this one does pretty much everything you need. So I do recommend it. And of course, it can do OBD2 for other vehicles as well, not just Mercedes. You can find some on Amazon that have a lot more options. But check out the link below. And if you guys enjoyed this video and if it was helpful for you, of course, leave a like and consider subscribing for more content like this. But yeah, this little preview at the Launch CReader 2.0, very useful tool. And it does eliminate the need to keep pressing this stupid button all the time, because yeah, this gets old if you do daily drive one of these cars or if you use one of these for any purpose. So yeah, see you guys in the next one. If you guys like this video and all my content so far, check out sta-industries.com and check out all the German car apparel I have, especially M15 stick stuff. I have license plate frames, cool hoodies, sweaters, high quality stuff with nice embroidery. Check it out, you won't regret it. I'm always posting new stuff on the website, including ML stuff coming soon, specifically ML63 engine rebuild stuff, as it's pretty relevant to what I'm doing right now. But yeah, check out what I already got in there. Lots of cool M156 stuff that I really enjoy wearing while I work on my cars. There is also other Mercedes stuff already up there, like for my SL500, M119 stuff, including a lot of BMW apparel as well, so go check it out.